Welcome back to Swirl, your A through Z, covering the LGBT, LMNOP, and everyone in between show. My beautiful transgender inclusive voice has finally arrived via a fancy train. Sure, why not? Mia.
Thank you so much. Yes, that was a planes, trains, automobiles adventure running through. So it was
You're
fun.
Officially a San Franciscan.
Yes, I've been locked on a muni for 30 minutes and no explanation. So yeah, officially I made that. I first off, I just want to say thank you so much for allowing me to be here on a special night. I think this is a really special episode, and for the chance to get to hear somebody like Walter telling that story is just something that's so, it needs to be heard, you know, public school graduate. And, you know, I never heard of their story. I did not know he even existed. So
I felt cheated, you know, it's like how people's tax dollars being printed on a textbook, and here is this important person. He's like not even just the guy who delivered the newspaper. I think he's more important than everyone else that we learned about. I'm like, they were neat figureheads or kind of people that were out there, but to hear one of the people that made this happen, to made those moments that were so important. And thinking about that, getting to come on here, I was thinking about the lives in your workplace. Everyone has their break room, workplace, everything. And looking at that federal employment poster that you're required to, you know, adhere to. What's amazing to me is those are lives. Those, I'm listening to him and understanding each and every little segment. And I know I'm now one of those little lives on there, and that's it's interesting because it didn't even really dawn on me. And as he's speaking, Walter was speaking about him, I was like, oh my God, I'm one of those lives, and each of those are a lifetime of people's hard work. So you don't really get the totality of it, and I wonder how many other people that made those special you know, sacrifices so others could find employment. And then when you see and hear a story like that, you're like, why aren't we learning about those people? Those are the people I want to know about. That's exactly what I say when I read your case. Oh, believe it or not, that little children, you know, should be reading about your case and will finally learn.
I've always joked about that, though. I figure my case is going to be important. Maybe not the recognition in my lifetime, but it's at 20 years, 30 years down the road, there's going to be someone in a break room that's just going to be sitting there, and it's on the poster, and they're not even going to notice it. And that's when I won. When it's just part of, you know, no, actually when I've won is when we have our first transgender president, and then I know I won. So that's the ultimate goal. But yeah, we're getting there.
I thought that's why, you know, yes, we rotate our co-hosts between Shar, Sima, and Mia, but I felt it was very appropriate to have you on with this show, you know, Byard being someone who fought for African American, not only the civil rights, but employment rights. And here, your case is significant for transgender employees. So if you could back up just really quick in one sentence to let people know what, you know, your case and winning it, what that means for transgender workers. Yeah,
it's an inclusiveness of the 1964 Civil Rights Act that he was so paramount in getting passed that covered race, sex, and gender, or race, sex, and religion. Under the sex guidelines, it used to just say male and female. And now under the Macy v. Holder and addendum, it is now change of sex, change of gender, or anyone that doesn't conform to gender stereotypes. So what's amazing about that is anybody, if you're effeminate male or butch female, you have the same equal, they cannot fire you based on those reasons that have been. So on the backs of these wonderful people and, you know, standing on the shoulders of these giants, I've added this next element. So, and
which is huge.
It's cool.
Now, I'm going to say something because, so, you know, Byard being a pivotal, you know, person, right, in the civil rights movement and creating change, and who we are, we don't know who he is, and he's overshadowed by the great. I'm not taking anything away from Martin Luther King Jr., but, you know, in late 2012, or just a few weeks ago, the Huffington Post, a progressive, credible source, published an article about, you know, the top transgender stories, leaving out your case, in which this affects, you know, tons and tons of people. Do you feel connected to Byard hearing his story.
You start to get it, and now the world's so much more heavily socially media and everything. There's so much information as opposed to his time. Like they wouldn't have a gay black man in a newspaper. Well, but now we have so much other media that they can have a top list of like the most influential transgender issues. I was only upset like about that list that I wasn't included because there was a greeting card. I guess I got banned from like American Apparel or something that had a like tranny card. It had this disgusting like word tranny on it. And that made the list as opposed to, the employment side. And it's not me that needs that media side. It's more the whole message of our work. Because, that's the only thing that should be important. And so I get frustrated on that side. So I know where he's at. Like, I know he passed away and never thought, like, God, I'd have to wait 20 years before someone would start to know
how important my work was.
Yeah.
Or, what great role I played.
Yeah.
So, we've got a couple minutes and I'll end with this.
Yeah.
Same question I asked Walter. If, Bard were here today, would the movement, the gay rights movement, would it be any further? Would it, what would have changed? What are your thoughts? If he were here today, do you think that, the gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, equal rights movement would be different? Would it be much more cohesive? Because I'm feeling
I think it would be less splintered than it is now.
Mm-hmm.
I think there would have been more of a cohesiveness in our in the society, in our culture and society, as you can see with our current president. I think there is, and Bayard definitely had it. There is a charismatic kind of solidifier that can bring those people in unification in those communities for a direct and precise message. Whereas I think we've kind of splintered where, it's the movement of the gay men taking the brunt of a lot of things. And then now, like the 90s, the Ellen, the gay women. And now in the media, you're seeing like transgender issues coming to the forefront. But we're so splintered. And it seems like so many people, unlike this show, which is so inclusive for the whole community, I think there is, and we all need to kind of get behind that. What did the gay men do to forge? We should follow those paths. We should all work together, and we're not like that. So I think we would be at a different point with a person like him. And the only disappointment I have with Bayard is that that wasn't something more he was outspoken about. Mm-hmm. But he grew up in a time when you didn't speak about it. And,
he was born in 1912.
Yeah, so you didn't talk about it. But I look at him now. If he had been born 20 years later, would he accomplish what he did? No. So I know he's passed. So,
but his legacy lives on, and you're still alive.
Thank you.
So we can create your legacy now.
Yeah.
And so I'll end with this. Mia does a segment on our radio show, which, by the way, is every Saturday evening at 7:00 on 960 AM here in the San Francisco Bay Area. And her segment is called "It's More Than a Feeling. It's All Things Mia." So she gets to get things off her chest. So we'll end with this. We'll end with 2013. What's going to happen with you?
You know what? We got to finish up and go forward with the case, and that will be moving forward. I'll be out there in the world. I call myself the accidental activist. It wasn't something planned, and helping people. My major goal is exactly sharing our story of my beautiful wife, getting that out there, and then I'm starting to help with a group that's helping younger people transition. Or later in life, but people that are in the middle of the beginning of their transition, and that is such a rewarding feeling. And the only way I'm going to get out there is get myself out there with the helps of people like you and the show, and keep knocking those walls down. I'm not done yet. I'm not running this place, and until I am, until I'm running it, I want to run it all. And
Google Mia Macy,
and I want an action figure. That's all I've ever wanted. I want an action figure. When I get an action figure, I'm done. Okay, so
that's awesome. Okay. We've got to take a quick break, but Mia will be back with us to discuss a cat call or a non-existent cat call. Okay. We'll see what that means, but for now, we're going to take a break.